Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the new episode of the Minecraft single-player series. The footage you're watching is sped up because this was originally going to be an entire part by itself, but then the footage ended up becoming so long that it went over the 2-hour mark, and I guess I was just so engrossed that I didn't realize over 2 hours had passed since I'd started the footage. This first part will be me actually digging out the squid farm, which I said I was going to do at some point. Although I did claim I would do it at some point in beta 1.9, but I figured I would do it now because I had the time and I had excess TNT that I could use. In addition, this squid farm most definitely works, but not in this update. It works starting in the future. So why did I build it at this point? Because it seemed like a good idea at the time. In addition, the other half of the video will be a little bit slower. Not that much slower. You're still going to be able to tell exactly what's going on. But it will be slow enough that you'll be able to see exactly the steps I took. This step is just digging out the hole itself, and then the next one will be, how should I say it, making the trap functional. Because for now, all that's going on is me digging out a giant hole. And that's pretty much going to be the gist of this part. You can see me use all the TNT that I've acquired, the whole reason behind building the mob farm the way I did. All of that was to get TNT, so that I could make projects like this without having to worry about the difficulty of actually maintaining the resource management. Because doing this manually, while more than doable, is still annoying. And I also don't think that anyone here would have genuinely enjoyed watching me do this by hand with no edits and all of that. So I figured I'm not going to throw away this footage because I still used the footage. It was still on my computer. But it seemed like a better idea to repurpose it into a sped up video so that I can talk about what happened. There wasn't a progression, but that's okay. We'll go back to that eventually. And instead I decided to stream Neptunia last night. This would be the third stream, so you now know when this was recorded. And the reason for that is because, sometimes you gotta work. Now, as for more fun stuff regarding this, I actually really like the single-player series here, because it's just me getting to do whatever I want. I don't really have to think about any other rules of the road. I'm not limited in construction by any other player locations. In addition, I just like the old Minecraft a lot more. I know it seems a bit limiting, but there's just something really nice about it. Maybe it's the graphical style, maybe it's the art style, who knows? Maybe it's the reason you can't sprint, or the no hunger mechanic. But just something about it is so fun to me. I also like this HUD, okay? I think this is a better HUD than the Minecraft Java HUD from 1.19. Because that HUD is the definition of cluttered. You ask me, this and then a HUD that tells you what biome you're in would be perfect. And truth be told, this is really one of my biggest issues with the actual game of Minecraft when it comes down to making these large structures. It has to do with the fact that you're going to spend a lot of time mining like this, and truth be told, I said this before, but most of Minecraft, the most time spent will be in the grind, just digging things out, building things out. And you can't really enjoy actually having all this stuff, because if I did that, then what would happen is I would say, oh, I built off camera. And then it wouldn't be good for you either, because that would mean that you don't get to see any of the process going on. Everything here was an entire process in of itself in order to complete the traps or the farms and everything else. Albeit, I also know for a fact that not every single person is on board with watching me do all these mines, which is why this is sped up. Because there's no way I'm subjecting you guys to this unedited. This was ridiculous. There was no attempt to even commentate over this, and as a matter of fact, I'll be impressed if you can pick this up, but there are moments during this commentary where my mouse stopped working, and I was playing with a trackpad. If you can figure out when I started doing that during these, I'll be very impressed, because the trackpad gameplay, it's classic, okay? Trackpad Minecraft, that's old, okay? Most people don't do that anymore because it's just not efficient. But it is interesting to think about. Because don't get me wrong, playing Minecraft with a mouse is so much better, so much easier. But when you have to play with a trackpad, it forces you to get creative. Now, I didn't do it for the entire thing. I still used the mouse for most of the run. But it is true that I had to play with a trackpad at one point. I also grossly underestimated how much sand and wood I would need for this project. I originally did this in Skyblock Survival, which is why I wanted to show it off. Because in the Skyblock Survival series, I built the entire squid farm completely off camera, which caused a huge sudden jump in the actual series, where 1 minute I will have giant farms, and then the other minute they just didn't exist. And it's because trying to build on camera was a pain. And it was during that time that VSDC was having that random glitch that lowered the definition of my videos. I also want to point out what you just saw of me that was sleeping in the bed. Sleeping in the beds do not save your spawn point at all in this game. I completely forgot about that. I still don't know what killed me there. As you saw, my hearts went from 6 to 0, and I had full iron on. So riddle me that one. Either way, we're going back here. I still did store all the slime balls, and now we're back to the mines. Because we're always in the mines. We never go anywhere else, apparently. And that's okay. We don't need to go anywhere else. We just need to experience this as a whole. A super fun, ultra awesome, crazy experiment. And by that, I mean digging down. Albeit, I did like having the guest commentators. I think guest commentators are more fun than just solo commentaries. At the same time, though, I don't want to make every video a guest commentator video, or make every video a sped up post-commentary video, because, truth be told, post-commentary is cool, but then you don't get to see my reactions, you know? I actually want you guys to see my reactions. Live commentary will be more fun for me, but post-commentary is also just more convenient. I didn't really think that post-commentary would be that much better, but it truly is. It is much more convenient. It saves so much time in editing, and it also allows me to focus on the actual video in question, as opposed to just trying to occasionally silently build while I hopelessly attempt to maintain conversation while focusing on whatever I'm doing in the game. Don't get me wrong, this will be mostly a channel where live commentary will reign supreme, but I also know that attempting to do live commentary every single part is going to lead to certain situations that can't really be overcome. There are some points where live commentary has its faults, and the faults of live commentary would be along the lines of occasional awkward silence, which in the modern day is a death sentence for a video. Awkward silence in a video, unless it's done intentionally and with a purpose, usually leads to less engagement and less people viewing the video. But that's besides the point. Over here, we're getting back more resources. As you can see, this farm has started to get super effective ever since I patched it up, because it was originally clogged by slimes, but I patched it up with slabs, and now the mobs come back even faster, which is exactly what I wanted. And I needed all of this to happen so that I could get some creepers to show up, so I can get more TNT, because for the most part, my biggest issue with this series, well, not this series, but this section of the series where I'm building a giant farm, really had to do with TNT usage. We've gone through so many stacks of TNT manually that I'm honestly surprised I ever had any to begin with. That is how ridiculous it seems to me. And then here I had to take out all the torches so that I don't waste any. Then I dig a new location, and now we just start back again digging the hole. And this should be the last instance of hole digging. If I'm wrong about that, then so be it. But I'm pretty sure that this is the end of all the hole digging, just so that I could get all my resources. Well, this is really where the collection area is going to be, because the squids themselves are going to fall from above. And that's going to be how we take care of this section. All of this TNT keeps blowing up, and my biggest issue with TNT is that it's really good for stone mining, but once you get to other blocks such as dirt or gravel, then the power of the TNT will alter, thus resulting in uneven cutting of the situation, thus ensuring that actually maintaining the item usage is going to be very difficult due to there being no due to there being no symmetry. That's the word I'm looking for, symmetry. And when there's no symmetry, it becomes a real annoyance to try and keep this section sorted out. Here is where I'm going to make the viewer section so that I can step down here and actually see if there are squids in the farm or not. And once this farm starts working, it's going to be maravilloso. Okay, maravilloso. I also, like I said, I really underestimated how much glass I needed for this project. I originally thought I had enough. And here's a random one. I ran out of wood. Yep, we're out of wood in the main chest, so the next episode's probably going to start with... Oops. I did not mean for that to go off. Ignore that, ignore that. The next episode is actually going to be the continuation of the Minecraft, but the next live episode, meaning recorded live, my voice acting is live, and... Not acting. My voice recording is live, and you can get my genuine reactions. That's probably going to start with me harvesting crops again, because crop management is going to be the death of me in this series. Not just crop, but just resource management. My biggest issue in these long Let's Play series is that my resource management tends to be less than optimal. And when my resource management is less than optimal, what ends up happening, typically, is I run out of resources towards the end game, making future parts loaded with grinding, and that in turn means we get less content overall, or the content I do upload will just be super grindy. Now, don't get me wrong, grindy content is fun for me, but I also know that not everyone is into that sort of content. Not everyone wants to watch someone in the strip mine for a bunch of hours. That was something I did have an issue with in Season 1, and especially Season 0, was when I would show off the strip mining. And to this day, I don't know why. I guess it was because at the time I was getting sick of the hyper-edited Let's Plays, and that is partially what made me start Season 1 the way it was. Season 1 was created in response to all the hyper-edited modern Let's Plays of Minecraft. Because I grew up watching the old style of Let's Plays. Very, very personality-driven, slow-based, very, very, very patient, and super fun. But I also know that those Let's Plays were really driven, and they succeeded due in part to the personality of the creator as opposed to the actual content in-game. Here, I'm just playing Minecraft for the sake of playing Minecraft on my own little world. Not because I would call myself some grand personality, because, truth be told, I'm not arrogant enough to say I'm the best. Will I call myself good at single player? Sure, I think I can be qualified as good in single player. But for the time being, I'm here just because I want to bring a more old school style Let's Play to a Minecraft. Because Minecraft YouTube right now is storytelling, it's having a structure, it's trying to manipulate the watch time hours to get them as high as possible. As opposed to doing what I want to see and just see someone play a video game. Overall, I do like how this ended up turning out, but once more, I gotta stress that you need stacks of everything. Literally everything, because stacks of 64 mean nothing when it comes to construction. And even with all the sped up footage, there's still footage that I edited out because I know for a fact that even this got boring after a while. For now, this was still really fun. But at the beginning, there was literally over 4 hours of video, and I had to cut stuff out even after all the speed up. I hope you guys actually do like the speed up content. I don't want to make this too often, but when I make it, I want you all to know that I made it. Here we have all the signs. Now, the signs here are really going to be just for simplicity's sake. Eventually, we get to the complicated part, and we get to all the big signs. The signs that make us go, oh my goodness, how many did you craft? Because something about beta that I really find interesting is that you could not stack signs. And signs were only given to the player by one at a time, meaning that you needed a lot of resources to even attempt to make signs the way we do in this series. They're just so much more plentiful here than they were in other series. In addition, I do like how these farms are going. These farms are going to be what make this series super interesting to me. Because while it's true that one of the reasons I like Season 1, going back and watching Season 1, is that I just eventually settled on a giant mega base that isn't even a mega base by modern standards, but would have been considered a mega base at the time. To me, it just looked super cool. But I also know that to a lot of people, it probably seemed basic. And yeah, it was basic, but it was also grand in scale, and that's why I liked it so much. It wasn't a case where nothing was going on. Definitely something was going on. But it also wasn't complex or even remotely intricate. Albeit, a friend of my brother actually said how I didn't get lost in there, but that was mostly, seemingly, to make me feel better about myself. I don't think he was being serious. But then again, he did get lost in the tutorial of Neptunia 1. For all I know, maybe he would have gotten lost in there. And that's not a joke, he did. Either way, this video is pretty much wrapping up to a close. I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next part. Let's hope that we can all enjoy this series together.